Okay, you've made your points. I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you in a moment.
Okay. You've raised about 3 or 4. Let me complete, and after that you can always come back asking questions. That's the second. Third, again, these are more like allegations rather than the finding of the SIT report. I'd rather wait for the finding to be taken cognizance of by the Supreme Court and let the verdict come. And based on what the verdict is, I suppose we should be responding. I've just responded on 2 things. There are 4 others.
I'm coming. We've got lots of time. We'll take up each of those one by one. Abhishek Singhvi, R.K. Raghavan, the chairman of the SIT, concludes, and I'm reading now from his concluding paragraphs, that there were 32 allegations which were proved during this inquiry. These related to several acts of omission and commission by the state government. Only a few of these were substantiated, and this is very crucial. The substantiated allegations did not throw up material that would justify further action under the law. So the special investigation team says no further action can be taken against Narendra Modi. Dr. Singhvi, your thoughts on that?
This is an SIT report, and I do agree with Nirmala ji that none of us have read it, have seen it, and therefore I must caveat my comments that they are based on the assumption that what you are saying is the content of that report. But if what you are saying is correct, and I have no reason to doubt it at the moment, it is something of public interest on which comment is fair comment. Look, the SIT is obviously, from what you have read, suggesting that there may not be enough to criminally prosecute the person, because that requires a proof beyond reasonable doubt, a threshold which may not be available to the SIT, because the SIT was hamstrung by doing raids or surprise checks. But that does not in the least detract from the extreme seriousness of the report. Tell me, Rahul, in the last 60 years, and this is the real point, in the last 60 years of our republic, how many chief ministers or cabinet ministers can you think of who have continued with one damning indictment after another? The Supreme Court shifts en masse the entire trial of hundreds of cases out of Gujarat. There is a damning indictment of senior home ministers of that government. There are SITs. There are Supreme Court judgment which says it cannot have a system of Nero fiddling while Rome is burning. That's the phrase of the Supreme Court, not my phrase. There is now this SIT. Now, if you look at the larger perspective, tell me, in a democracy, everything is not solved by law, because there are inherent limitations. You may not have a conviction. That's all that Mr. Modi is saying. Well, Mr. Raja, for whom everybody is shouting so much, doesn't have a conviction. But what standard are you applying? There is something known as perception, something known as reasonable basis, reasonable data, Supreme Court strictures, number of proceedings. I can only say I am unfortunately not as sanguine as either Mr. Karat or Ms. Shoma. I am certain that the thick skin and the insensitivity politically which we have seen in that state will continue. There is no question of resignation. Here is a chief minister who does not know the word Raj Dharma, even when told by a senior leader of his own party. So I have no doubt that he will continue.
Okay.
Now, as far as legal action is concerned, I am sure these will be brought into the melting pot of adjudication by appropriate persons who are doing PILs and other public-spirited activities, both in the Supreme Court proceedings and elsewhere, and ultimately the Supreme Court will take a view.
Okay, Mr.
But as I said,
okay, I'm coming back to you. Let me get the others.
Are stacking up against Mr. Modi, because public perception is clear. Here is a man who needs to step down to clear his name, and I can say with certainty and confidence, here is a man who will not step down in any manner till that is done.